Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior, and welcome to another God of War video. It's been a while since I've actually made one, so I do want to say I apologize for my absence recently. I've kind of been taking a back seat and focusing a little bit more on my personal health and well-being, just so when the oncoming storm does arrive, I'm all prepped and ready to deliver you more God of War content. And with that being said, I suspect we do have something lingering around the corner. As you can tell from the title, in today's video, we will be discussing the current state of God of War Ragnarok, what's currently going on with the game, and when I do think we will see a state of play, as it has been about 5 or 6 months since the reveal of the trailer. And with Horizon Zero Dawn now out of the way, all eyes are on God of War Ragnarok and what the game will deliver for the PlayStation lineup of games. But in order for us to do so, we must first recount Ragnarok's history, when it was first announced, its numerous delays since then, what has been going on behind the scenes, and what is going on right now, as there's currently a bit of a stir at Santa Monica Studios. So, with that said, sit back, kick up your feet, and relax, as we have a deep dive on what exactly has been going on with God of War Ragnarok and its current status. But before we do begin guys, as always, I would super appreciate it if we could get this video to about 500 likes. It's a great way of supporting this channel and also helps give this video that extra kick right out of the gate. And hey, if you like what we do here and wish to see more, don't forget to subscribe and tick that bell, as it will keep you up to date with all of my content, including the legacy of the Blades of Chaos, which I will be discussing later this week. But without any further ado, let's begin, shall we? Now, originally, the first time we ever set our eyes or got any news about God of War Ragnarok was actually all the way back in September of 2020. Yes, it has been a while. This was of course during the PlayStation 5 showcase, displaying a number of different titles that would be coming out over the next few years. And originally, God of War Ragnarok was slated with the release of 2021. But of course, due to unfortunate events, damn you COVID, God of War Ragnarok would be delayed indefinitely, so it would be put on the back burner, as development of not just the game, but the industry slowed down to that of a snail's pace. Understandably, something that many studios are still feeling till now. Now with that being said, the game has been pushed back to that of 2022, with a release date right now yet to be given. Now this wasn't the only delay that did come to Ragnarok. With the pandemic in full swing, there were some other things going on behind the scenes, whilst for the most part largely kept private. The actor for Kratos, Christopher Judge, underwent some major surgery, with both hips being replaced, as well as surgery getting done on his back and knees. Along with this, of course, he did have some time to rehabilitate, which further did delay the game. But with that being said, Judge has made a successful recovery, and luckily is now in tip-top shape. So, we do wish him well, and we are happy to see that he's still continuing to play the role. Now, our first big reveal was during last year's PlayStation Showcase, where we finally got an official reveal trailer. This helped set the time period of where the game was, as well as the tone of the story, still leaning into the core elements of the previous game, whilst establishing new and previous existing ideas. Along with that, we have some new enemies, as well as old allies coming back from the past. To finally cap this off, we were able to see some official gameplay, which showed new rune attacks, new moves within Kratos' arsenal, and levels of verticality added to the previous existing formula. So it seems like we'll be able to take on enemies on a whole new level. Whilst the trailer is quite brief for what it is, it seems to expand on many of the ideas in the previous game on a much larger scale. And with the game running on a PlayStation 5, it allows them to expand on previous existing ideas and approach it through a new and different lens, finally making all of the 9 realms accessible. Now, one of the biggest changes, at least behind the scenes, was the passing of the torch from God of War 4's director, Cory Barlog, to a new visionary, that being Eric Williams. Now, for those of you who don't know who Eric is, or maybe quite worried about the passing of the torch, is that Eric is in fact a long-time dev team member of Santa Monica Studios. He's actually worked on every previous installment, and hasn't simply been shelved with the title of director because Corey wanted to pass it along. I believe we are in trustworthy hands here, and we still have Corey on the sidelines, as he's aiding Williams from a producer role. Now, following the reveal of the trailer, things have unfortunately gone quite dark, as we are still yet to get a release date for the game. All that we currently are working off is that it will be coming out in 2022. So the game is still being worked on, but what has changed recently? Well, quite a bit of noise has been made at Santa Monica Studios because after months of silence, and many people questioning the status of Ragnarok, as many games are still currently being delayed and being pushed back to 2023 in some cases, Santa Monica's community manager, Blue Owl Medic, came out in late March and wished to confirm with the rest of the gaming community for them not to worry, and that Ragnarok would most certainly be coming out this year. So many minds have been put at rest. Now, a bit of a tinfoil hat theory on my end here. I do largely suspect the silence was just because of development. We must keep in mind of God of War's exclusivity to PlayStation and the other numerous titles they do have, with one of the biggest and hotly anticipated games to have come out this year, Horizon Forbidden West. So Santa Monica may have been told to lie low, whilst Guerrilla Games prepped up for the big release of Forbidden West. It allows the different dev team schedules to somewhat tie into each other, without clashing with the promotion of each game. It allows everything to work productively well. And with that said, ever since the start of April, there has been a large influx of tweets and photos stemming from the front office of Santa Monica, with a number of developers expressing their excitement as they return back to their office. The one, however, that has most certainly garnered the most attention is the Instagram photos and tweets from Ryan Hurst. For those of you unfamiliar with that name still, Ryan Hurst is the actor that will be portraying Thor Odinson, the character that really is the main poster antagonist for this game. He has tweeted quite a few photos, obviously showing his own excitement, as well as his rivalry with Kratos. But please do keep in mind, these photos could indicate a number of different things. He could simply be in to do more mocap work, maybe he's back to finish up some lines, as he is an actor, so it would have to fit around his schedule, or maybe he's filming some early promotional material for the game before the trailer drops. So just general stuff talking behind the scenes, as they start dropping more news and trailers. To also somewhat support this, Atreus' actor, Sonny, has recently tweeted out a photo of himself in a mocap suit. This came with the hashtag of God of War Ragnarok. So it's quite clear that whilst the game is still in production and isn't quite over just yet, it does seem like from an acting standpoint that they may be wrapping up their acting roles. And if so, this will then be passed on to the rest of the development team, who will polish up what they do and insert them into the game world. With this in mind now, what's next for God of War Ragnarok? When can we expect to hear more news? Well, with E3 once again cancelled this year, that means that we will most certainly get a state of play for God of War, and I actually think this will come sooner rather than expected. And that's largely because we are actually very close to God of War 4's 4th year anniversary. As much as I'd love to blow your mind by saying, if you take 4 of God of War 4 with the 4th year anniversary and times it by 4 to get 16 and then flip it upside down to get 91 and the rest of that cryptic nonsense, I will say, this is all purely hypothetical on my part. But with so much chatter on Santa Monica's end, the 4th year anniversary being tomorrow, and knowing that there's somewhat next on the panel for a AAA PlayStation 5 game, it's hard to not ignore the signs that are clearly on the wall, especially after a brutal 6-month dry spell and silence. So I will say, for the time being, don't get your hopes up, but please do keep an eye out for what is going on this week. Pay attention to the PlayStation and Santa Monica Twitter, as we may finally get more news, information, and gameplay regarding God of War Ragnarok. as let's face it, these state of plays just kind of drop out the sky with little to no warning. So if there is information about that, I will be making a video on that, so you can all be prepared for when we finally get more news about God of War Ragnarok. I hope you have enjoyed this video and it has been quite informative about the current status of God of War Ragnarok, as well as some of the changes and things that have been going on behind the scenes. I am thoroughly excited for more news about this game, and I honestly cannot wait to learn more about what will happen during Fimbulwinter and the fall of Asgard itself. I do apologize on my part for being quite silent for the last few weeks. As I've said at the very start, I've been taking some time away to look after myself a bit. And creatively, I'm a little bit burnt out and dry for ideas as of right now, as there's not very much to talk about that I haven't really talked about already. So, if you have any suggestions for topics down in the comments below, that would be most certainly welcomed and appreciated. But with that being said, what do you currently think about God of War Ragnarok? Do you think we will be getting some news this week? Or do you believe they are just biding their time till they feel that the game is ready for release? Please do comment down below. I'm super thrilled to hear what you all have to say. That has been it for this video. So as always everyone, stay strong, stay well, and keep on fighting as Ragnarok comes for us all. Take care everyone, I'll see you soon.